spent how many years in Quebec? How many years did you spend? Nous avons un homme très charmant que nous attendons depuis longtemps. So let's give it up for Fox Mulder, David Duchovny! What time of year were you here?
It was late spring, early summer, so it was actually
a good time.
I'm told anyway.
Oh, construction time. Is that what you call it, construction time?
I don't know if I get up there.
Have you had a chance to check out Jazz Fest during this week?
Not the actual Jazz Fest. I was telling Mitch there seems to be jazz everywhere, so I've been enjoying jazz from doorways.
That's fantastic.
Jazz to the home.
I'm going to ask the cheesy question. I'm going to get some cheesy questions out of the way because a lot of them get asked, so I'm just going to steal them from people. Je vais revenir comme des questions. I'm going to say something though. Si vous avez des questions en français, ne gênez-vous pas, demandez-le en français dans les micros. Je vais traduire la question pour les messieurs et je vais le retraduire. Y también si tienen questiones en español, por favor, no tengan vergüenza, creo que hay mucha gente de México.
Way too many languages.
I said if you have questions in those languages that they speak, Spanish or French, they can ask.
You're just showing off, dude.
We're only going to have time for one question. Because it's going to be in 40 different languages to answer.
We barely speak English up here, so.
Have you ever had poutine?
No.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Poutine is French fries, gravy, cheese.
I know what I did the French fries and gravy and cheese thing. I guess that's not poutine then, is it? No, I'm sorry.
I haven't had it. I'm looking forward to my first. It was 100 degrees the other day, so it seemed like not the day for poutine.
Don't try any of the other concoctions. If somebody tries to put spaghetti sauce on it, don't. Yeah. Try fries, gravy.
Right, with spaghetti sauce, it's poutine.
Exactly. X-Files, 25 years. I'm going to ask some of your favorites. Boy, what's some of your favorite monsters?
My favorite monsters?
Would you like me to translate?
Didn't he play one of the favorite monsters?
Yeah!
Well, I don't know. I remember a couple of years ago sitting in the makeup chair for 4.5 hours getting prepared to go on, and another 2 hours. Then I would go on set for 20 minutes or so, then I'd go back to the makeup trailer and take another 2 hours to take it off. That seemed like a monster.
It is one of the best monsters, definitely. How about you?
I've always had a place in my heart for the Peacock brothers.
Yeah!
Peacock.
Yeah!
We were lucky enough to have her back this last season to play just a wonderful, Karen Connell was just wonderful.
Woo!
But it's like, for me early on, having Darren Morgan play the flute man was pretty special.
Yeah, Darren Morgan's fantastic.
He's awesome.
Did you guys know that he was a writer before he started, when you saw him in the suit first time?
I didn't. I think I had just pretty much come onto the show around that time. So I didn't know much about him until.
Yeah, I was on a flight from LA to Vancouver. It was like the second year of the show, and this guy sat down next to me, and he was looking at me strangely, and I was like, oh shit. It's like 2.5 hours, he's gonna be looking at me, and every time I look over at him, he goes. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And finally, he hands me his book, and it's just a novel. It's not even a book that would mean anything for the show or me or anything. And he goes, "Will you sign my book for me?" And I said, "Sure." Thinking if you stop looking at me greedy. And he goes, "Who shall I make it?" I say, "Who shall I make it out to?" He goes, "Make it out to your nemesis."
Wow.
And I said, "Why would I make it out to my nemesis?" And he goes, "I'm Darren Morgan. I played the flute man." I had never seen him out of his makeup. He was actually flying up to be the writer on the first show that he wrote, whatever that was. So he eyeballed me for like an hour.
It's funny, I had a very similar experience like that with Darren. I was at the, I had been badgering him for years to put me in one of his episodes. He didn't, and then the 10th season, he didn't put me in his episode. And so I was on the elevator at the Sutton place, going up to my room, or I got on the elevator, and he was on it, and I completely ignored him. And he said, I doing the same thing, he was giving me the look, kind of staring at me, and he finally goes, "I'm Darren." And I said, "I'm sorry, Darren." And he goes, "Morgan?" "Morgan? How do you spell that?" It finally let him off the hook, but it was like, I said, "Dude, put me in one of your friggin' episodes."
Did I get you the monster?
Dude, I gave you like a 20-minute story.
All right, so we'll take some questions. Did you have a favorite?
No, I got out of that one.
All right, let's move to the question over here.
Hi, my name is Carly. David, I think I told you once I'm a producer, so I apologize for the phone. You guys are very aware of the Scully effect. I know it comes up in every Comic Con. But I don't know if you guys are aware that a lot of people went into a TV production because of the work you guys did, including myself. I've been in the industry now for 10 years, and I just won my first Emmy Award, and I wanted to dedicate it to you, all of you. First show that just got my attention. I was obsessed with how the production value went. So thank you.
Thank you.
But my question is, I lost my question.
You just wanted to tell us that you won an Emmy, that's all.
It's true, Mitch. It's pretty cool to sit up in my fireplace. That's what makes them cool. What are all your favorite TV shows? What are you guys binge watching right now, whereas we're all binge watching the X-Files again?
I watch Handmaid's Tale, I watch, Animal Kingdom is a really good show. Goliath, wonderful. Most everything that I watch is on cable. I don't watch much network. Have you guys heard of the Mulder effect? David and I just did an alien come in, and it was a building full of Mulders. So that's the effect that Mulder had on it. It was like these guys were it was really interesting because we met a lot of people who were very much into, it's like the ancient aliens, is those guys, So I mean, it was like really literally, it was a convention full of Mulders. It was incredible to talk to these people because some of the stories and some of the things that they've experienced is just pretty interesting. So, it was cool.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you. Let's go to the question here.
Always remember. I don't remember. No plans. I'm not doing anything. I don't know.
Sorry.
So I just want to say, it is really, really magical to you guys. Like, to me, it's like watching Steve Colbert and Stewart doing something together, or watching Virtue Laura on the stage, or skating together. Like, whatever you guys do together, whether it's Mulder and Scully or separately, just even as you're talking to each other, you can see like the chemistry and the love guys the history of how to sit together. And I just want to thank you for that for 25 years of showing us and sharing it with us.
Was there a reaction? I wasn't even paying attention. Did they react?
Yes.
Hi, I have a question for David. I was wondering, I heard that you originally wanted to complete a PhD in English, and I was wondering what drew you to acting instead.
That's true. I was in graduate school on my way to get a PhD in English literature, and I was also interested in writing. And then I started writing poetry, and that was my poetry. And then I was thinking about other ways that I could be more collaborative or get out of my room. I was just sitting in my room writing, so I was thinking, oh, playwriting. And I was at Yale, there's plays everywhere, and they always needed actors. There were just too many productions going on around campus and in Maven, and they just always had a chronic shortage of actors. So I got to know some of the playwrights as I was working with them, trying to write plays, and then they always needed actors, and I just kind of felt that if I was going to write plays, then I should probably know what it's like to try and stand on stage and say those lines. So it was really kind of an ass-backwards way to get into acting.
I think you realized who I was once I got up there.
William, did you always want to be an actor?
No, I didn't always want to be an actor. I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid. And then I later found out that acting was too easy, so I decided to be a director. And then but I started acting because I was, my cousins, half a generation older than I, ran a summer theater company in Ontario. And before they went north in the summer, they rehearsed in our basement, my family's basement. And they were doing a play called Portrait of Black, and they needed a kid for it, and I was handy. So they brought me in, and I did that, and then I did, every summer I did gradually larger roles. I did the Browning version and the Winslow Boy and various things, and thought that was pretty cool. And I hate to date myself, but I did quite a lot of radio drama as a child. We did not have television at the time in Toronto. We were watching this building go up called the television building, but it wasn't up yet. And so I worked quite a bit as a child actor. And then, as I say, when I got to university, I decided that was kind of childish and I should really become a director. And then many, many years later, as a director, I decided I should do more acting to see what and learn more about acting. And then I started acting again, and then I stopped, right? It's fun. Somebody else should talk after this.
You had a teaching school though in Vancouver.
Yes.
You taught acting.
I taught acting here in Montreal because I was the director of the English acting section of the National Theatre School here in Montreal in the late 60s. I've been teaching in England before that. That's why they brought me over to do that. And then, yes, subsequently I started my own school in Vancouver and done a lot of teaching and acting.
Did you meet Peter Cullen? Was Peter Cullen one of your students? Because I know he went to the National Theatre School. Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime.
Woo!
No. No, I was before his time.
Okay. How about you, Mitch? How did you get into
I started doing theater in high school, and I was doing musical theater. And actually, I was an athlete, and I took a music class, a choir class, and the teacher got me to heard that I could sing, and she got me up to sing Maria from West Side Story. And I ended up playing Tony in West Side Story, and I had the greatest time of my life doing that. And then I had a whole other career before I went back into acting. I started doing theater in Texas, and the first time I got back on stage and getting that immediate response was pretty awesome. So yeah, this is fun. And yeah, so I just started doing theater in Austin.
Fantastic, thank you. We're going to take a question from Venezuela.
Yes. Well, first for Mr. William, I know, or all we know, that Agent Mulder here put like 1,000 bullets in your chest. So, are you still alive?
He looks pretty good.
Well, that's a good question.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry about that.
And let me be clear, he's your son, by the way.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope it's shit.
But anyway, late that night, we'd been going for God knows how many hours that night. We were freezing cold.
Bill was like, put me out of my misery, please. Shoot me, Agent Mulder, and let me go home to my bed.
But we got a nice speech. Monica Reyes and I from Chris saying, you know, nobody ever really dies on the X-Files, blah, 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 blah. We have flashbacks and blah, blah. Oh, sure, give me that one, Chris. But then I said to Chris, you know, I said, that wasn't actually me who got killed, who got shot and fell in the water. That was a creation from the sun, whose DNA I share. And Chris looked kind of, oh yeah, maybe I can bring him back that way.
Wait, say that again?
Peter was a manifestation of Cancer Man. So when they shot Cancer Man, they thought they shot Cancer Man, but it wasn't him.
Where am I?
Cancer Man had it out.
Where's the real you?
Where was I when that was happening?
As Cancer Man. And then
Where did he go?
they saw
Listen, I survived a rocket attack. I can survive.
And so then Peter got in the water.
Well, finally, I just for Mitch and Mr. Duchovny here, I just would like to say thank you for all. I just know I came from Venezuela technically to see you guys.
Yeah, Peter, no.
So,
Thank you so much.
point of view, Mitch, you are like technically the best example of a best friend. Always there, standing right next to right. Well, not in the last season, you know, but anyway. And for you, David, sorry for the spoiler, David.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, you're my personal hero. So really thank you for to be there. And I hope to see you as Agent Mulder more in the future. So, saludos desde Venezuela.
Hello. My question to the cast would be, what were some of your favorite episodes this season on the X-Files?
This last season?
Well, my favorites were the two that I was in.
I'll go along with that. I must have to say Kitten.
Yeah. Put my buddy in it.
My favorites were the ones that Bill was in too.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
Did you have a favorite?
3.
My favorite episode when Mulder experiences the Mandela effect and the alien.
Oh yeah, I love Star Forehead as well.
Had me laughing pretty hard, so.
Oh, the Mandela effect, yeah, that was Darren Morgan, yeah, terrific, yeah.
Love Star Forehead as well.
I love that.
Which I was in.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Thank you very much. We'll take a question over here.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. I have a very complex question regarding the mythology. So, after we find out that Mulder and Scully are having another baby, at the shotgun wedding, will it be a courtroom wedding, a church wedding, or a Vegas wedding? And will Skinner be officiating?
Oh my God.
That's awesome. Yes. She's dead serious.
Inquiring minds like that.
Is Skinner
Honestly, I was fucking around and I wasn't listening. Give it to me again.
Okay, so, when Mulder and Scully get married, will it be a religious wedding, a courthouse wedding, or a Vegas wedding? And will Skinner be there?
Skinner will be there.
Okay. Good.
I think Vegas.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. So, yeah.
Yeah, Vegas sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think Skinner's probably can marry us. He can probably do it. It's probably in Skinner's bag of tricks at this point.
Okay. And also, I just really appreciate all the work that y'all have done for the show over the years and for the fans for coming out here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Woo! And I hope we get more of those cold case audiobooks. Those I actually kind of like that plot line. So.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the gentleman right here?
Good evening, gentlemen. My question is, when you started the X-Files, though, so many years ago, did you realize that it would become this big and overnight sensation, become pop icon culture?
What would you like to say to fans after
Well, I was absolutely positive. I could tell right away. A show about alien abduction, yeah, that's going to be a real, going to go places. I was quite confident.
No, I had no idea, to be honest with you. In fact, at that point in my life, I thought I was just going to be acting in movies, and I thought my agent brought me this pilot for the X-Files, and I thought, oh good, it's about aliens, that's going to be gone. Yeah, I'll get paid for the pilot, and it's going to be just crap. Nobody cares about that stuff, it's silly, and I'll get to go on and do the rest of my life. And, you know, apparently that's why I'm not an agent.
Oh, I had no idea. But anything.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Hi. First off, I want to say thank you guys. All three of you have been role models for my entire life. And it's been such
Oh dear, that's a little worrying.
So my question is actually directed to all three of you. I was wondering, with the show kind of doing mini-series currently, if there was anywhere that each of your characters would be able to explore, where would you want your respective characters to go to experience?
Well, for me, they given with the Skinner episode that they did this last season, they definitely gave him some place to go, and that's finding out what happened to his friend and what exactly the government has been doing in that respect. So that is his quest, I think, at this point.
We're all looking at you.
Well,
Evil plots.
I think that maybe we could be in Downton Abbey.
Yeah, right? That's what he sounded like.
Or Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't. Or House of Cards.
Oh!
I don't really know. I mean, sometimes I feel like if we could get out from under the weight of some of the mythology that we've done, you know, it'd be interesting to see what the characters are without having to answer all that stuff. So I don't know. I never really think about that, and I can't come up with anything that's not just like a liver flip on a moment. So I won't. But so it's a fine question. It's just I can't answer it, and I don't know how to answer it.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
What do you directed some of the episodes, did you write those too as well? Were you happy with the direction that took?
Was I happy with my own direction? Yeah. You know, never really, but yeah, I mean, it was a real opportunity to be able to write and direct for the first time on the show. Mostly because as a director, you had, by the time I did it, which was the 6th year, you had, you know, a well-oiled piece of machinery that knew what it was doing, and you had actors that what they were doing that you were writing for. So I could literally go to set knowing nothing as a director and be able to be held up by all these other people and learn from them, as I had been doing for 6 years. You know, guys like Bill Rowe, our director of photography, other directors that we had, Kim Manners, Rob Bowman, David Nutter, Chris Carter, all very willing to help me. Like I said, the actors do their parts so well. So yeah, it was real. It was like directing with training wheels. But I looked like I was riding a bike.
Thank you. We're going to take a question from. Oh, we were on this side of the lead.
So I was wondering, like, I know that Gillian Anderson might not do it next season, so I was wondering if you can even do the next season with Gillian Anderson. Like, if you can, like...
So sweet.
I'm sorry.
You mean if we could do it without her?
Yeah, if we can do it without her. And I'm just gonna tell you that you guys are like my favorite people in the world. And to the cigarette smoking man, William Davis. You can answer this question too if you're gonna be in the next season, like if you survive.
If I survive the next season, if I survive this season, I've been established that I can survive quite a lot. Sure, I'm happy to be there.
Like without Gillian Anderson?
I managed to be in the show for 7 seasons without ever working with Gillian. We had some lovely moments in the pilot, and after that, 0. Which is why I went to Frank Spotnitz at the time and said, can I write an episode and work with Gillian Anderson? And that's how the episode On a Me developed, in which we had long scenes together. And that was a great pleasure to do that. So the answer is yes to either situation.
I would continue to do the show if there was any incarnation of it in the future, so that's my take on it.
There's no plans for another season right now, so it's best, I find in my life it's best to not answer hypothetical questions.
Even from sweet ladies like you.
From somebody as nice and well-spoken and wonderful as you.
I just want to say thank you for being in Montreal. And I just want to ask you like one simple question. What is the thing that you like the most from Montreal? Montreal is a great city.
I've been a Habs fan since I was 10 years old.
I saw David grimace at that reaction. I know you're a Kings fan.
I like it to hear you say the truth is out there.
There. You know, it's weird because when we do these things, a lot of times we don't really get to see or spend the amount of time that we would like to spend out in the cities that we do these at. And which is the case. I've been here the second time here, and I really haven't had an opportunity to see Montreal. But my wife is Canadian, like I said, and she wants to come up here. So if I want to come up here on a vacation and explore Montreal, and I understand Quebec City is also beautiful too. So I'd like to spend a vacation up here and not in the middle of doing one of these things, so I can give it some focus.
Oh, hi. Before asking my question, I wanted to say thank you for coming to Montreal because you're really not obliged to be here today. And I believe I'm very lucky to see you.
Thank you.
Also, you guys are very great actors and you're very inspiring. So thank you for that as well. My question is for Mr. Davis. How many cigarettes do you think you smoked in the whole series?
Continuous electronic cigarette.
Probably more than you expect, because every time we did something where there was a cigarette in the scene, and we would do another take, we would have to do a new cigarette, because we would have to cut it to the right length so it matched the shot that we'd done before. So it's not like you just did a cigarette and then you put it out. We did it over and over and over again. Ashtrays were piled high with cigarette buckets with water in it to throw the cigarette butts in. And when other actors came in and smelled the stage, they almost wanted to leave. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Tell them about the machine.
Well, what happened for me was for the first 3 or 4 years, I was dutifully lighting the cigarettes for each shot. I happened to, it's a Montreal story, because I happened to do a show, a movie, a low-budget movie here in Montreal. And the character I was playing had to smoke a cigar. And the props person had this fancy machine, which would mechanically light the cigar. So no one had to physically light it. And he mechanically lit it with a suction cup and so on, and handed it to me. And I realized that if I could get them to do that on the X-Files, it would cut the amount of smoking I did by about 80%. And so after that, they did always light it mechanically and handed it to me. Oh. Thanks to Montreal. That's a Montreal.
Yeah.
I wonder if you got cancer after all. I'm not surprised. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much for your question. Take the first year.
Hello again. So just a disclaimer, I've been a fan since the mid-90s. So there was a reference to the Mulder effect. So this is directed at David. When season 9 ended, I was just entering college, and so I decided to pursue a bachelor's in forensic psychology. Mulder had a background in psychology. And then I got my PhD in criminal justice with the endeavor to reform policy, right? Just like Mulder, I noticed that in my career, I'm constantly challenging the status quo. So my question, as the series progressed, did the Mulder effect, in the way that I described it, at all influence how you contributed to shaping his identity as a compassionate and relentless seeker of truth and justice for the masses?
Well, it's a long question.
I'm sorry.
It has many parts, I guess, but you asked about playing a character. You know, if you play a character who's questing, he's a questor, I guess. He's trying to find something from the very beginning. It's always a question of how do you keep this guy innocent in a way? You have to keep him. He has to keep his energy. He has to keep on believing in this quest. You know, and it's season after season after season goes by, and he's got no closer and no answers. You know, does that change a person? Especially when we came back to do the last, well, the second movie and then the last 2 seasons was, how's this guy different this many years later? You know, and I used to joke, he's not solved one case. You know, so how does that change, man? And to me, where we fell down, where we sometimes fell down as a show or in the movie, was when we lost the sense of kind of wonder or hope. And that was, for me, that was always coming out of Mulder's quest. It's like, you know, just that phrase, the truth is out there. It's like, it's out there. So for me, it was always to come back to that original sense of wonder for this character, of somebody saying, it's not as it seems to be, there's something more. So that would be the key for me, no matter what age I play this guy, would be almost an innocent, childlike sense of wonder in that case, and rebellion, as you rightly point out.
Just a quick follow-up. Did you ever think about how it influenced the audience? So no. So I was wondering
I don't say that in any kind of disrespectful way. It's just, it's like, it's very strange to be sitting here with an audience that you're not used to, you know, seeing, because we make it and you guys take it and you guys watch it. And I've always felt like, just the generation that I come from and the kind of artistic mindset that I have is that I have to create it in a vacuum to make it as real or as authentic to me as I can. And if I start taking in, you know, the possible effect that it might have, to me that's not the art part. To me that's something that can happen. It's wonderful, it's great, and I'm thankful and all that stuff. But for me, as like on the inside trying to create stuff, it's like I can't be thinking about the effect of something. I can only be thinking about the truth, or, you know, making the best show that we can make. So it's not to, I hope you don't feel that I'm being disrespectful at all, because I'm not. It's just that's not part of the process that I go through.
I imagine it would be overwhelming to just think about.
Well, I think that's true. I think that's what happens, is you can get overwhelmed and you start second guessing yourself. It's like, oh my God, what would Mulder do? You know? And that's not the question you want to be asking.
Thank you very much.
So you guys are all fantastic. That's not in dispute. But my question is for Skinner, who is the man, Mitch. Mitch, why does Skinner put up with Mulder for so long?
That made us bring an idea.
Yeah. Do you get tired of carrying him across the finish line? No, I'm just kidding. My real question is, what have the new seasons been like filming and putting them together, and you guys getting back together, as opposed to the original run when you didn't really know how far it was going or how it was going to get?
You know, I think we fell right back into it. It felt real natural, and the fact that we played these characters for so many years, I think, lent itself to that. I mean, we know each other, we know how we work, and we have these relationships that we could depend on to kickstart, you know, what we were doing on the show. So it felt really natural, and it felt right when we came back and did the new seasons. But yeah, I mean, as far as Skinner's relationship with Mulder and Scully, it's why didn't they trust him? David?
Still asking whose side is on?
What's that?
Well, I mean, you started tonight by asking whose side you're on.
Yeah.
I'd rather be on your side than Mulder's.
I like you. That's my guy. Thank you.
Thank you. He's a plant. Next question.
I have a short comment and question for the cigarette-smoking men. First, I'd like to say that in the show, you're really incredibly menacing, and in real life, you have no menace whatsoever. So, you know, good on you for the acting. My question is, were you a smoker before you took on this role? And if not, did you become a smoker as a result of having to smoke on the show?
Good question. I was not a smoker when I was hired to do the show. I had been a smoker. I had started as kids my age did, smoking under the bridge. And I was actually quite a heavy smoker until I was almost 40. So I certainly knew how to do it. What happened with the show, I had been quit for, I don't know, I think it was 15 years by then. So they looked for the pilot, and going back to that earlier question, did we think this show was going anywhere? And I was quite confident, no. Like David, I thought this was a gig, I'm just going to do it. So they said, do you want a real cigarette or do you want to have these herbal cigarettes? And I said, no, I'm a real actor, give me a real cigarette. So I smoked a real cigarette on the pilot. And then another episode came up and same question. No, I'm going to smoke a real cigarette. Then I found myself sitting at home and wondering if they would call me for that X-Files show. So I switched to herbal cigarettes.
Herbal?
No. Every time, first scene that he would have to do was at the beginning of a season, and he had to smoke a cigarette. Because he hadn't smoked anything, but for the whole time we were off during the hiatus. And he would come back, and it was like, it was usually in my office that you would light up for the first time. And I felt so bad for him because that first herbal scene, even though it was herbal, it was like just about to put him on the floor. He'd start turning green and just kind of like,
maybe it was the herbal.
Well, thank you for the sacrifice.
It's about right.
Thanks for being here. So Mitch asked me not to ask a question in this panel, so I'm going to ask it now. And I'm also going to blame you, William, now for the Deus Ex Machina that was the end of season 11, just so you know. I have an English PhD, unlike you, David, so I'm going to ask you a question. Which is how the hell do I get out? And also, your writing is very much, it's based on the absurd, like I can hear Beckett in it. Would you ever consider writing a play? Like I think that would be really quite brilliant.
Sure, I consider writing anything. I mean, when I start to write, usually the form of the idea kind of demands that it's some form. You know, this feels like a novel, or this feels like a song, or this feels like, not yet hasn't felt like a play. So, but I have thought about turning in some long form fiction that I made into a play, and so I wouldn't rule it out. I'd love to do that because I think, you know, obviously in a play you get to luxuriate a little more in the dialogue than you do a movie and screen teleplay are very stripped down. It may seem like we're talking for a long time during the show, but it's all very clipped. It's very stripped down. That's the nature of the television. It's the nature of moving pictures. So there's something about a play that lets you really love the language a little more.
Yeah, thanks. Like your prose is beautiful.
Thank you.
Seriously, how sickeningly prolific is this guy? I mean, enough.
I'm about to quit right now.
Do you dance? We'll take a question over here. Go ahead with your questions.
Yes, hi. My question is for David, and it's also about writing. You wrote, I think, 2 episodes on the X-Files, and they were some of the best episodes. So I'm wondering, when and how did you wake up and say, I want to write an episode for the X-Files?
Well, I was acting in the show, so. It was really something that as I answered earlier, I came to acting as a writer, I thought, and then I started. That was my career as an actor. And then as the show went on, I remember talking to Chris Carter and saying, if I write an idea, if I come up with an idea, write it. Can I direct it? And he said, sure. So I had an impetus to write something because I knew that I could then direct it. And I knew that I had to write myself out of it because I knew that I couldn't direct myself too much, at least the first time out. I didn't want to have to direct myself, so I knew I had to write an episode that had to do with the past. And the first episode, well, I had contributed some of the mythology stuff, but the first episode that I wrote was The Unnatural, and it was 98, and there was a big home run race in baseball. And I read an article in the LA Times about this guy who played for the Roswell something or others in 1947, which was actually the year of the Roswell crash, and hit like 75 home runs and actually held the professional league record of home runs, not the major league, but of all professional baseball. So I thought, well, that's an odd coincidence that, you know, he was in Roswell. You know, maybe that guy's an alien. It also happened to be the year that Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. So I put those things together, and there was this, and it just started percolating that way, and I just came up with this idea about an alien that makes himself black so that he won't have to go to the big leagues because he's so good, but then Jackie Robinson breaks the barrier, and now he's being seen as the next big thing. So that's just, I know you didn't really ask that question.
That was a great story about how this episode came to be, because it's one of my favorite episodes.
Well, that's how it happens. It's like, you know, you draw ideas from the air and you start to put them. It's when I ran against phones. This is my problem, because the phone carries all your information now. You don't have to hold it in here, so nothing percolates, right? It's like, oh, it's in my phone. But if it was now, I'd probably have all those three things in my phone. It would be in my head, and I wouldn't write it. That's my feeling, anyway. But anyway, so that's how it happens. You just kind of pull things from the air, they merge, and they form one, if you're lucky.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one or two questions. We'll tell the question over here.
Hi, I have a question for David, who also pertains to writing. When I was a kid, I went to one of those old days called video stores, and I saw those long lost inventions. I saw House of D, and watched it, loved that movie, and then years later, ironically, well, that movie and your role in Californication really inspired me to start to write. So I kind of do owe that partly to you. I was just wondering if you ever had any plans to direct another feature or write another feature sometime in the future.
Yeah, I have a, thank you. I have I'm just reminded, because House of D came out when I was shooting near Montreal, actually. And he got this horrible review in the Canadian paper. And my driver, who was just a sweet guy but didn't speak much English, he very kindly opened the review for me on my seat to get in. I was going to work. And like, he didn't know that it was a horrible review. But he was like, and I get in, I was like, merci. Or maybe he did know, I don't know. So yeah, I had this book, Bugging Fucking Dead, that I wrote, and that's it's a script, and I hope to make it as a movie. It's an independent film. These things come together, they fall apart. We're trying to get it. I'm trying to shoot it in the fall in New York. So hopefully, you know. But if not this year, then I'll shoot it the next fall. I mean, I will make it at some point.
Thank you. So this is your last question from, not sure what character that is. Is it Proto-Man? I thought he was blue.
No, it's Proto-Man. Yes, it is.
Proto-Man.
So my question is actually, I wonder, being really good actors and really talented altogether, I just wanted to know actually what kind of drive to play as well, because we all know roles usually have a root, something that people inspired by people, historical events. So I wonder actually, questions for each of you, what actually inspired you to develop your character and, you know, sing with them?
For me, the worst thing I can do as an actor is be inspired by a real life person. I tried it a couple of times and it was a disaster. There are actors who can do that. There are actors who especially have mimicking abilities, which aren't necessarily the same as acting abilities. For me, what I try to do is I do what the character does, and I do it as truthfully as I can. And I'm not thinking about, as the other question was, what effect that's going to have on the world at large. And I'm not thinking how that may be, actually the character that I tried to imitate once was Pierre Trudeau. And it was a disaster, it did not work. So my answer to that question is, that's not the way I approach my work, but others maybe do.
As Bill said, you try to bring as much honesty to the character as you possibly can. In my case with Skinner, and probably a lot of you know this, is my dad's character. My dad tended to seep into what I was doing with Skinner unconsciously. He just became part of what I was doing, I didn't really know, really wasn't thinking about doing that, but until I watched the show with my mom and my brothers and sister, and when as I told the story yesterday, it's like we watched the episode and we all kind of went, well, that's Dad, and I think just from growing up with the man and the love that I had for him, and he just kind of seeped into what I was doing with that character.
I'm not sure. I remember back when we were starting the show, an important aspect of the character was his kind of irreverence. Like, he wasn't like a by-the-book FBI agent. So I was very, I guess I was very kind of lax in my view of how believable he would be as an FBI agent right off the bat. Luckily, we got some knowledge about how to work with guns and just the best pocket to pull your badge out of. Just silly things like, yeah, you should have it so that it's not your gun hand, dummy. So like this one, they're like, oh shit. Stuff like that. The interesting thing about being an actor, and these two guys will probably attest, I have no reason to believe, I don't know anything about their experience with this, but when you play a character, especially if that character becomes well known, everybody in your family thinks it's them. So my brother, he's like, I think you're doing me. And then I did Californication. He's like, you're doing me. And I said, you can't have both. Those guys are very, very different. You can't have both. Have you had that at all? Like,
no, I haven't.
This is my brother.
But the one thing that did speak of what Mitch was saying, when I was writing my book and I was doing some research and looking back at old pictures, and I found a picture of my father smoking, and he smoked the same way that the smoking man smokes. So that was inspired, I guess, by my father, but I was not conscious.
That's Bogart, isn't it? Bogart's brother?
That could be as well, yeah.
But your father's probably copying Bogart.
Yeah, probably.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that question. Thank you everyone here for all